often, especially being such a family-oriented community as we are here in our Fair Valley, aka the SCV, we look out for everybody. We're not distant. In some cases, not quite maybe the extended family situation where we all live at home with each other, but we still look out for our elderly parents, grandparents, even friends, other family members, spouses, et cetera, and or our even children sometimes. In this case, if in case you do need some sort of help in that direction, especially as someone you know and love gets older to the point where maybe it's not a completely necessary option for them to go into some sort of skilled care, but they still need a little bit of a helping hand at home and around and things like that. Home Care Services Santa Clarita, located on Cinema Drive, is a good option. HomeCareSantaClarita.com. Here with me this morning, we're talking about the effect not only on adults but on our children and the youth when we have someone in our family begins to be affected, especially with Alzheimer's or other types of impairments. Rick Ferrante, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, George?
I am wonderful. There we are. And so I want to talk a little bit about this because we've talked a lot about what happens to the loved ones, whether they are our spouses, our parents, whoever.
Right.
But we haven't really talked lately about what happens to kids or youth and younger people, how this affects them, because it uproots everyone, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Wouldn't necessarily think about, we're talking a lot about Alzheimer's and dementia, and as a part of the community and the committee to bring resources into Santa Clarita to try to help those people who address that disease and help people who have that disease and their caregivers and loved ones. We're always thinking about the adult children, the spouses, like you said. What's been interesting, and for a lot of people, very surprising, and I've done many presentations and educational things and stuff like that with a lot of groups. And what the surprising one for a lot of people is the youth, where, okay, maybe they're not necessarily the ones that are directly being the caregivers for a senior or whomever has Alzheimer's or other form of dementia, but they're dramatically affected, and it's really heartbreaking, George. I mean, I've gone into a group of youth, maybe a high school group, a class or something like that, where I've asked, okay, who here has, by a show of hands, been affected by this? Where do you have somebody at home, or do you know somebody that's close to you that has Alzheimer's or dementia? And, easily half of them raising their hands. And even the ones that aren't are kind of, this partially going up thing where they're, but nobody's asked me that. Nobody's really focused on me as far as care. Now, obviously, because they're not the ones that are just day in, day in, out caregivers, right, there's a lot of resources that are needs for those other folks, but this part of the family does need some attention. And so as a committee, we're trying to bring resources into the community. We are the committee for the walk. But what is that? Where do those dollars go? It goes to research to help find a cure, but it also goes into resources for us here locally. Okay, your friends, your neighbors, and youth as well. We got to make all that part of it, and those same resources, the same educational things, the seminars, the workshops, support groups, material, whatever it is that's age appropriate, but is real. And, these are people that need to be addressed. And I can't tell you, George, the times where we have been able to do that, and, not a dry eye comes out of those places. And it's really helpful. It's really healing. And it's the kind of thing that both assists that person, that youth. And I'll tell you what, look around. Who are they going to be the ones that are going to actually pick up this mantle and continue? Because we're not done, right? I mean, we have not found a cure. We can't prevent it, can't slow it. We don't have a cure. We've got a long way to go. And the youth are going to be that next charge, and they're part of the answer too. They're part of the support for everybody involved. This is a all-encompassing thing. So, look, I would ask people out there two things. One, don't forget that part of the equation, that this is everybody, including those that are younger, that maybe aren't just specifically and directly impacted, but are definitely affected, and keep them as part of that loop of all the needs and support and resources that are needed. not just the person with the disease and their caregivers, but those youth as well. And the second thing I would ask is anybody out there that has some connection to groups of youth, like let's say a class, a teacher, or somebody like that, a team, a coach. We've done that before, or any kind of group, maybe a church group or other organization that are youth oriented or youth focused. It's not always the first thing you think about. Oh, I'll have somebody come in here and talk about Alzheimer's, right? But you'd be surprised how effective that can be and helpful to this group that you're, leading or guiding. So I would ask if anybody has anything like that wants to have the Alzheimer's Association come in when there's produced presentations and things like that are very good and very effective and age appropriate. They come in and talk and get the questions answered and that kind of thing.
Well, it's important also, the youth and especially teenagers and even young kids, first of all, they may not even be able to articulate how it's affecting them until it's been presented to them, and they're not always very forthcoming just by nature of their age and everything else on being able to express their feelings. So I think it's important to have that outlet too, because those are things that can start manifesting in behavior that we don't even realize that's part of the problem.
Don't even know.
So I think that's really important. That's awesome that you're offering that, Rick. Home Care Services, Santa Clarita. Focusing, I know now we talk a lot about Alzheimer's, but it's for also anyone who just needs some sort of in-home care, that kind of taking the pressure off of family members or other people, or if you're single and aren't able to have anyone come in. So I think it's a real good opportunity. HomeCareSantaClarita.com, direct line 412-0707. Rick, always a pleasure having you come out and enlighten us on these things. That is absolutely terrific. Any final thoughts?
No, that's great. Appreciate you having me this morning.
You bet. 9:46 traffic after this.